Hi, welcome to Self Digitals. My name is Paul. Today I'm going to show you how to edit an image in Photoshop using the image tab. Now go to the description section, you find the timestamps there, so you'll go exactly where you want to see, and also you can get the download link of Photoshop there. Also watch to the end, have a bonus tip at the end. Now there are various options here that you can use to edit the image. We're going to look most of them. Now I'll start with the duplicate. I'll just come to the image again and click duplicate. If you want to duplicate your image, you just click one, and maybe it will give you this dialog box where you can give it a name. I'll just put one and just okay. If you want to duplicate again, I'll just come to duplicate and I'll just press one. Okay, or no, this time I'll press 2 so that it comes to. So you can see I have this the original image, and then I also have this image, and also have this image. Now come again the first image. Maybe I'll go to the images. Now there are various options that you can use to edit. For example, the first I'll use the first 2, 3, where you can just use the auto edit in Photoshop. Photoshop itself is try to edit your picture for you. For example, if I click auto tone, you'll see it will try to auto tone that. I'll just undo by pressing Ctrl Z. I'll come again and choose auto contrast. You see it will try to auto contrast. And if I choose auto color, you see it will try to adjust the color. Auto tone, it will try to adjust accordingly. Now then the next thing we're going to do, maybe if you want to know the image size, or you want to adjust the image size, you can always come to the image size and click here. Then it will give you this dialog box here. Like if you look at this image is into inches, I want to put it into pixels. You see it is in these pixels, and the resolution is here. Maybe what about if I want, and you can see the image size is 15 MB. What about if I want to increase the size? And you can see this, if I increase this, this links show that the image is increasing proportional. So if I want to increase maybe I want to increase the image to maybe it's 1920 to 2000. If you look at here, it is going proportionally because this link is placed. If I press OK, you see the image has increased in size. I'll come again. Let me undo. You see it has reduced in size. What about if I want to come to image size again? I want to reduce the size maybe to 500. You see the height is also adjusting proportionally. I press OK. See it has reduced to that. Let me just undo so that it comes to the original. I just come again here. Maybe the image, this time I want to show you something about the image size. If I remove this, if I unclick this so that doesn't go proportional, I put 500. Then I leave this one like that. You see it will go unproportionally. So it's always good to come under images and make sure you check this so that it always resample. And also make sure you click this so that it resamples well. So I'll just press OK and just leave it at that. Then I'll come to the images again. The next thing is the image canvas. I'll just come and click the image canvas here. Now the image canvas will show you a nutshell of how the image looks like. For example, the width, the image canvas, the way it looks like here. Like for example, the width, the height, and many others aspects. The width is the pixels. But what about if it in inches? You can just click this if you want to see it in inches. If you want to see it in centimeters, you click that. If you want to see it in points, click that. But I normally prefer using pixels, and it will also show you the image size is 15.9 and this. So I'll just press OK. I'll just cancel. There's nothing I'll do here. I'll just press cancel. I'll come again to the images. What about if I want to rotate my image? I'll just come to image rotation here. We don't rotate it to 180. Let's see what happens. It will go 180 degrees, meaning it will go upside down. Let me undo by pressing Ctrl Z. If I come again under image rotation, what about 90 degrees clockwise? It will go like that. Is it vertical or what? Then I'll just undo again so that it comes again. I'll come again and what about yeah, it will be the opposite. Then I'll also come again and image rotation. I'll now do let's try this attribute. Maybe now let's give it some angle, maybe around 30 degrees. Then OK. Yeah, you see you can even give it around the degrees that you want it to be tilted. I'll just undo. I'll just come again here under image rotation. What about if I want to flip the whole canvas into horizontal? It will, the image, the face is like it will turn the other way around. You see, it's like it will turn the other way around. I'll undo. What about the other side? I'll come again, image rotation, and maybe vertical. Now this time it will do what? It will go upside down. So at least you have seen here under image rotation. If you want it to go to the other side, we flip canvas horizontal and to go to the other side like that. Compared to this, you can see that compare this image and this image, you see this one is like more edited. Now I'll come again under the images. This time I think I've shown you how to duplicate. The next thing I'm going to show you is apply image. Now if I click this apply image, it brings me something like that, where it gives you other options that I can use to manipulate the image. If I click here, maybe if I put red, it will try to bring the reddish aspect more prominent. If I put green, you can see what happens. If I put blue, you can see what happens. I'll just go back to RGB. But now the most important thing is this part here on the blending. I'll click here. If I choose, if I hover here, you see what happens. If I click color burn, you can see what it becomes darker. If I click lighter, it becomes lighter. If you dodge, you can see that. If I just hover until the bottom, you can see hard mix. You can see what it does, and you can subtract, difference, exclude. But the normal one is the normal one, the one that we have. If you put multiple, you see it becomes darker. So let's leave it at, you can see, let me try this one here. Let me try multiple, or leave it at that, press OK. You can see the image has become darker. Let's go to the next image. You can see this is opposite. I'll come again here under images here, and now this time I'll do this. I'll do calculations. Now under calculations, it now changes the image to black and white. It also works the same, almost the same way. If I put green, it becomes greenish bluish. It's like playing around with black and white. Again, also here, again also you have the blending option here, but this time you blend in black and white. If I hover here, you can see this. You can see that. You can see this. Maybe I leave it at I want it to be extremely dark. Maybe I leave it at that, and just press OK. So you can see it is black and white. Now let's move to the next image. I'll come again to the images here. This time I want I'll go to the adjustments mode, whereby I'll have other options whereby I can edit. For example, brightness here. If I want to change the brightness here, I'll just click the brightness and hover and over the slider like that. Contrast maybe like that, and maybe like that. I'll just cancel like that. I'll come again to the images. Levels. I love levels so much because you're able to edit some parts and leave some parts. If you, for example, this one will edit the whole canvas of the picture, but this one here will edit some parts. Like if you see some parts are becoming darker, if I pull these sliders here, you see some parts are becoming brighter, some parts are becoming darker. You can see that. This you can see that. At least you go about and manipulate it like that. I just cancelled. So that is the image. That is the levels. If I come to curves, curves are almost the same as levels, but now curves you can use points. This one here is for the whole canvas. You can edit for the whole canvas. Maybe you want some parts to be darker, and maybe you want some parts to be lighter. You can see that. But I don't want that. Maybe I can use points. Maybe I click here. I create some points by clicking. Now if I do this, you see some parts become darker. You can see that some parts become darker or brighter. You can see some parts. Like if I do this, some parts will become better or darker. I just undo, but you get the concept there. Again, I'll come to the images, I'll come to the adjustments. Now, first of all, let me duplicate this image again. I'll come to the images, let me duplicate so that I still use it, maybe 3. So I'll come to the images here, then I'll choose. Now this time I want to choose exposure. Now exposure is whereby you control the amount of light that is in the picture. For example, if I adjust this like so, become dark. If I pull it like that, it becomes like that, you can see that. Then I just leave it. I say okay, you can see that. I'll go to the next image, come to images, adjustments. Then also there's vibrance, whereby you can make the picture more vibrant like that, maybe like that, or saturation, where you can add more color. Maybe you want to add more color like that. Cancel. Let me duplicate this image again because I still want to use it. Come to duplicate again, and this time number 4. Now I'll come to the images again. I think I've talked about. Now let's go to hue and saturation. This now is like color correction, whereby you can collect. If I pull the sliders here, it becomes more reddish or bluish, as you can see, like that. You can see that. Maybe also can play with this. You can see the image is becoming light. You can see that. If I come to the images again, this time let me show you maybe color balance. Also almost works the same way, whereby you're trying to correct the color, maybe because of white balance issue when you're taking the pictures, and many other aspects, as you can see here. I'll just cancel that. I think you get the concept. I'll just come again here, images, and this time if you want black and white, also black and white, you can edit the magnitude in the color of black and white. For example, red, if I put red here, or I put yellow and I put red, you can see what happens there. Just like that, just press cancel, or I just leave it at that. Just say okay, go to the next image, and again I'll duplicate it so that I'll get to the duplicate. This time it is 5. Then okay, then I'll come again here under images, and then I'll do I think photo filter. Photo filter is whereby you can now choose the amount of warmthness in a picture. For example, if I click up here, you can see it becomes more reddish. Deep yellow, you can see what happens. You can see bluish, it becomes more bluish. Color, maybe I can also choose the color, maybe like that, and also can increase the intensity here. As you can see here, I can try to increase the intensity. Just like that, very bluish. I can see if I increase the intensity, it becomes like that. Then I just press I'll just leave it at that. I'll cancel. Then I'll come to the images. I'll come to channel mix. If I click here, you can see what preset. I can decide it to be black and white, or I'll just come like that. I'll come to the default, and maybe I still play with the colors, maybe bluish, reddish, and maybe other aspect, as you can see here. I just cancel like that. I want to duplicate this, and then I still want to use it more, so I'll come and duplicate here again, maybe number 6. Then okay. Let me use this. I'll come to the images again. I'll come to I think color lookup. You can apply. These are presets for cameras. For example, the various cameras, these are where they used to put light. As you can see, this one. Let's try this for Fuji. I think this is a type of camera. Let me try for Fuji. I think this is a type of camera. Kodak. You can see that. Let a sunset. If you want sunset presets, you can use that. If you want moonlight, you can use that. At night, you want to create the impression of moonlight, soft light, you can use that. Let me use sunset. I'll just leave it. I'll just press OK. Then I'll come back to the next image. I'll come here again under adjustments. I'll come to the next section here. I'll start with this one here, invert. You see what happens. Don't want to go back. I'll just undo. You can see what happened. I'll come again here, adjustments. I'll come to posterize. You can see what, and also you can increase the levels or you can reduce the levels. As you can see, maybe if I add 6, you can adjust to 6. I'll just cancel it like that. I'll come to the images here, adjustments, threshold. I think you can see what happens. You can play around with this slider, especially if you want to create something black and white and 3D. I'll make sure the previous so that you see what happens. I'll just cancel that again. I'll come here, adjustments, then gradient map. Here can have create a gradient. Maybe I choose purples, then just leave it like that. But I don't want this, so I'll just cancel. You see, I've seen what happens. Okay, I'll come here again under adjustments and choose selective color, and it will give me this dialog box here whereby I'll able to manipulate the cayenne, the color mode. You can see that if I pull this like that, you see what happens. You can see what happens. I'll just cancel it. Okay, the next part, I'll come to the shadows and highlights. This is where you can increase the amount of shadows. As you can see, I'll decrease. I'll play around with this amount. If you see what happens. I'll just cancel that. I think you've gotten the concept. Let me duplicate this. Okay, I'll come to images, duplicate. So I'll have 6. Okay. So I'll come here under images and I'll come to adjustment. I'll come to HDR toning. Now I'll play with this. I'll come under the defaults here. If I want monochromatic artistic, this is where maybe you want to make something look as if it is drawn, and then I'll play around with this exposure, play around with this. As you can see that yeah, you can see this, play around with that. Maybe if I try high contrast, I don't like that, maybe I'll just deal with this. But there are many options whereby you can play around with just like that, but I'll prefer this for artistic, especially if I'll also play around with the shadows and highlight. I'll just press OK. I'll leave it at that. I'll go to my next image, duplicate it first because I still want to use it. Number 7. Then I'll press OK. So I'll come back to I'll come back to this. Go to images again, and then this time I'll come to distort the last parts. You see what happens. I change it black and white. I'll just undo. I'll come again to images, adjustments, come to match. Now match color works if you have 2 objects, so I don't want to use this for now. I'll show you next time. The next thing, I'll go to adjustments again. I'll come to replace color. Maybe I want to replace a color. I'll just come and select maybe this bluish. Things to do. No. Then I'll play around with this. Then the color I want to replace, maybe I want to make it reddish. Then I say OK. Now anything reddish, you see what happens. You see what happens here. If I want to replace the color, maybe I want it to be more blue, just like that. I'll just press OK. See the color has changed. I'll go to my next image and also duplicate it. I think now this time it's 7 or what. Yeah. I'll use this. So this is the one that I changed the color. I'll use this. Then I'll come to the images and again I'll come to Equalize. You see what has happened. Just undo so that you see what happens. Then the last part, I'll come to the images. There's this part called the analysis, and I'll come to the most important thing. I'll come to the ruler here. Now under the ruler here, you're able to measure the amount of pixels, for example, from one place to another. If I want to measure that, it will give me the measurements here. Maybe if I want to measure this, you can see the measurement above there. Okay, I'll undo this. I don't want to. I'll come back here under the selection tool. I'll go back to the images again and come under analysis. I'll now use count. But before I use count, maybe I want to count some parts. Maybe I want to say this part is the first one. So I'll make sure you can play around the size. So I'll set maybe this one is 1, 2, 3, Maybe I want to name the body parts 4, 5, 6, 7. You can also increase the size, also the color. You can decide which color you want. For example, again, you can see that that color has changed. This is good, especially if I go here, especially if I'm labeling aspects. So I'll just come under images again. I'll just come under analysis and choose count. Also, you can get it here under the eyedropper, under this count. Then if I want maybe this one to be 1, maybe this one to be 2, 3, maybe 4, maybe 5, maybe 6. I can decide to change the color maybe to black. You can see that the label size maybe I increase to 10. I think you have seen it has increased. Maybe let's say try 20. You see that it has increased. Maybe let's try 30. See, it has increased. Now the next part is the bonus tip. Now this is the bonus tip. Now let's say I want to edit a specific area. I'll have to select that. I'll come here and right click under the lasso tools and use the magnetic lasso. I'll just come to the magnetic lasso and then I'll just select the hair. It will try to stick to the edges. Okay, there are many ways you can select, but at this point I just use the magnetic lasso tool to do that. So maybe I want to then I'll just make sure it is selected. Then if I come back to the images, maybe I want to change the color. I just come to adjustment and hue and saturation. So I play around with this. You can see that the hair color is becoming reddish greenish. If I do this, it will become like that. So you can see. And then I just press OK, and then I press Ctrl D to remove that border or shimmering. So you can see you can also change the color of a section. We just use these selection tools here, and they help you to edit part of a picture. So that is that. So guys, that's how to edit a picture using the image tab in Photoshop. Kindly subscribe to my channel. I'll be producing more videos of how you can edit pictures in Photoshop. So if you find value in my videos, kindly give me a thumbs up. Have a nice day.